Good morning, good evening, wherever you may be watching this video. Today, I wanted to do a Flare News weekly wrap up. There was a lot of news circulating in the Flare community this past week, and I think I want to start covering overall news and things of that nature that are going on in the Flare community just to ensure I'm bringing as much awareness as possible to the amazing things going on in the Flare ecosystem and just doing my part as a community member. So, with that being said, let's get into the content for today's video. Okay, so start things off with Flare Improvement Proposal 10 and Songbird Improvement Proposal 4. These proposals are looking to implement a new incentive structure on how data providers earn rewards by participating in the protocols found across the network. So you can find this tweet on the official Flare X account, but click this link, you'll be able to get some more details on the improvement proposal. So proposal will have a dashboard accompanying it. This dashboard will be used to essentially help the community make better decisions around who they delegate and stake to. Because, as a community member with either Flare or Songbird holdings, when you delegate or you stake, you're essentially supporting them, right? Your tokens represent support. And you always want to support the data providers that actually have the best interest at heart for the overall network and the community at large. So this tool is aimed at making those decisions a little easier, right? So with that, there are some new requirements that data providers are going to need to meet in order to be eligible for rewards. And they have those listed out here. There are, it looks like three of them. One starting with the FTSO anchor feeds. Providers must submit value estimates within a 0.5% band of consensus median and at least 80% of voting rounds during reward epoch. So if a data provider meets this requirement, then they get a notch in that column. So that's always a good thing. Next is FTSO, excuse me, block latency feeds. Providers must submit at least 80% of expected updates per reward epoch unless they have a very low weight, which would be below 0.2% of the total active weight. So if they meet this requirement, you get another notch. And then finally, staking. Providers need 80% uptime with a minimum of 1 million Flare in active self bond. To earn passes, they must hold at least 3 million Flare in active self bond and 15 million in active stake. Providers with sufficient uptime but less stake do not gain or lose passes but still earn rewards. So that's good caveat. That's some good flexibility on the staking side because that's a lot of Flare to have. I'm pretty sure validators on the staking side, they have those, but still to me, 1 million, 15 million, that's a lot of Flare to have. So, but I get it. Staking is a very important part of securing the network. So you want a hot stake anyway. So I'm totally fine with that. But there's a little blurb down here for Songbird. So all of these requirements also apply to Songbird except for the staking. So there's no staking on Songbird as of the recording of this video. So therefore that requirement wouldn't make sense for Songbird anyway. Since they don't have it. So, additionally, the dashboard shows passes, and a pass is essentially for each reward epoch where a data provider meets the minimal participation criteria across all protocols, they earn one pass. A provider with three passes demonstrates consistent compliance over the last three epochs. So, a data providers can have a maximum of three passes, or a minimum of zero, which essentially just means you're not participating at all. So why are you running infrastructure anyway? But if a data provider has three passes, that obviously indicates high participation rate. You at least to support active data providers, you want to at least provide or support data providers with at least one pass. That's the bare minimum on participation. So they then go into best practices for delegating and staking. Data providers failing to meet minimal conditions on certain Flare protocols will not receive rewards in any protocol, and the rewards will be burned. This impacts the earnings of data providers, delegators, and stakers alike. To maximize your rewards while supporting reliable data providers, follow these simple guidelines. One, ensure the number of passes is at least one. Two, confirm that the provider is marked as eligible for rewards or green on the dashboard. Pretty simple. Pretty simple. I mean, as a delegator or a staker, you're really only looking at those two columns anyway, the passes and eligible for rewards. So if those things are in the green, I think we're good. I think you're good to support them. Moving on, we have another Flare improvement proposal. We have FIP.12, which is Flare Improvement Proposal 12. This one I am extremely excited for. I mean, I don't know if you can tell or not, but this Flare improvement proposal essentially adds support for the Flare data connector on mainnet. And for those that don't know, this is extremely important because this is the precursor for bringing F assets to mainnet. Without the Flare data connector, or FDC for short, F assets is essentially impossible, right? So this marks a huge milestone. The fact that we've even gotten here, this means that, or to me, I interpret this as the Flare team has seen what they've needed to see to one degree or another. They feel like the beta has gone well from a technical background perspective. Everything on the back end is all good to go. They're seeing numbers that they want to see, and they feel comfortable enough with proceeding forward with getting getting things in line for the FSet mainnet launch. So again, get your Flare ready to vote, get it wrapped and ready to go, because voting commences on January 28th and it ends on February 3rd. And of course, if you want to get into the meat and potatoes, the technical details of the Flare improvement proposal, you can always visit this page and get into the technical details. But moving on, we have a lottery system being introduced for the FS at beta going on Songbird. So this is obviously an attempt to incentivize redeeming of the F assets a lot quicker instead of hoarding them. There's a cycle. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but there's a cycle to, minting F assets. That's just not where it stops. You don't just mint and that's it, right? It goes mint and redeem. That's a very key part to that cycle, the redemption part, Flare has already included various guidelines around the increasing of incentives when minting of F assets gets through or gets within a certain threshold. That didn't work. There's also providing liquidity on Songbird with F assets. That might be part of the issue, but they've certainly they've decreased the amount of incentives going towards liquidity providing during the beta to again further incentivize the redemption of F assets instead of hoarding them. But none of that has worked. So hopefully this new lottery system assists with that. So let's get into some of the details related to the lottery system. They start off by saying, in a few days, some of you received the third batch of F asset Songbird test rewards. A new feature is being introduced, a lottery system to make supporting F assets even more fun. Here's how the lottery works. Then they go into a recap. So after the successful open beta on Costin, we launched the Songbird test for F assets on December 18th. Within a month, XRP and Doge were added, with FXRP consistently 100% minted due to high demand, which is a good thing. You want high demand. I'm not worried about the high demand. That's really good. But they go on to say this new feature aims to boost much needed redemptions to free up more lots. That is exactly what we need. We need more redemptions. To make testing more rewarding, there is a $260,000 prize pool with around $37,000 in R Flare distributed every 2 weeks. That's a lot of R Flare. To encourage users to redeem F assets, 80% of the incentives are dedicated to this purpose. The lottery system adds an exciting dynamic. The lottery. So the lottery rewards participants who redeem F assets when total minted lots exceed 75% of the total lot capacity for each F asset. There will be 50 prizes available. First place is a $10,000 USD in R Flare prize. Second to 49th places each receive $400 in R-Flare. Oh, that's pretty good. I don't know if you've looked, but $400 in Flare, that's a decent amount. That's a decent amount. They go on to say, redeem to earn lottery tickets. Number of tickets equals redemption lot size times reward multiplied. For example, redeem one lot of F Doge at a 20 times multiplier equals 20 tickets. Redemptions from January 13th onwards earn tickets if requirements are met. Check your ticket count on minting platforms. So you can definitely check how many tickets you have based off of your overall activity in the FSA beta starting from January 13th onward. So be sure to check that out. Um, Click how it works on the minting platforms to learn more, redeem, and win now. There are a few days to maximize your chances to win up to $100,000 in prizes. I mean, that's a lot of money and to be incentivizing, participation, full participation in the FSET beta. So be sure if you're participating in the minting of FSETs that you check this out and you also redeem the FSETs. It's a test, okay? It's a test, right? If you want to actually get rewarded for testing, follow these guidelines. You're not getting anything for hoarding. You know, I would like to mint some FSX myself. All right. I've only gotten to do it a couple times, but I've been blocked essentially since then because you guys are hoarding it all. I mean, I like the participation. I'm not complaining about that, but help a brother out. Help a brother out. Redeem some FSX today. Moving on. All right. So SparkDex moving fast along with the data providers that support the Flare network, along with the Flare team. They were able to implement a price feed for the Trump meme token. So if you've been living under a rock, Trump launched a meme token days before inauguration, and the price, it went crazy. It went crazy. So, the Flare team, data providers, again, that support the Flare network, they were able to implement a price feed for the Trump token denominated in USD and SparkDex. SparkDex with the quick turnaround implemented Trump USD on the perp dex where you can open short positions, long positions on the Trump token, which allows you to take advantage of the price movement without necessarily holding the Trump token. So Trump was obviously built on the Solana network. There's no bridge from Flare to Solana or from Solana to Flare. So how would one from the Flare network be able to take advantage of any opportunity that may present themselves with the Trump token? Well, the best way we have is PerpDex, and the fact that SparkDex was able to implement this in such a quick turnaround, kudos to them. It's great work. If you don't know what a perp dex is, I gave a video related to that. But just a quick overview going down the thread. So perpetual contracts or perps are powerful financial derivatives in DeFi that allow traders to speculate on asset prices without holding the underlying asset. Unlike traditional futures, perps have no expiration date, offering indefinite position holding. So shorting with perps allows traders to bet against an asset's price. If prices drop, traders can close positions at lower prices and profit. This strategy offers gains during market downturns and portfolio hedging to offset potential losses on long positions. Then we get into leverage. Leverage in perps trading amplifies market exposure, allows control of larger positions with less capital, capitalizes on smaller price movements, and increases both potential profits and losses. So be sure you understand leverage before you just go crazy on leverage, because there are some risks involved, which gives us our perfect segue. Risks are for small adverse price movements can trigger margin calls and force liquidation. So that's why you should understand leverage before you go crazy on leverage. Requires understanding of leverage, funding rates, and risk management. Higher leverage means higher vulnerability to market swings. Leverage magnifies both gains and losses. And Flare seems to have a DeFi 101, what are perpetual contracts that you can click on and read. And you can definitely get a quick little guide on how to navigate the Spark Dex interface to get to the perp dex. So um, definitely a interesting product to use. If I'm being honest with you, before perpetual or before perps were available on SparkDex, I hadn't really used perps before any other financial products. So that was my first exposure. It's pretty easy, pretty simple to understand. But again, understand the risk to reward ratios, understand leverage, all that before you hop in. That is my final warning. Don't want to hear anybody bashing SparkDex because you didn't understand the risk before you jumped in. Moving on, Flare has a community creative bounty going on right now where you can submit any of your creative creations, whether it's memes or characters, videos, threads, you know, walkthroughs, anything like that, basically detailing or educating how to do certain things on Flare or just education overall about what Flare is and how it works. And I was blessed enough to be recognized in this week's Creative Bounty. Appreciate the support. Thanks for the shout out, Flare, Flare team. If you haven't, but go watch my video that I submitted for this particular week. I do look to get involved next week. I actually like creating content for the Flare community and the crypto community at large. So again, thank you. Moving on. Digital Dynamics. So I hope I'm saying that right. But if you haven't been paying attention, we have another NFT product on the scene. This is created by none other than the Flare legend himself, Flare community. He's done a wonderful job with Blockbones, and Digital Dynamics is looking to offer a platform for NFT creators to create NFTs and offer utility at the same time. So definitely go give Dynamics a follow. And look, I mean, they're doing cool things over there. They're implementing dynamic pricing for their base layer, NFT base layers. So fixed pricing for USDX and USDT, and then you have dynamic pricing in Flare, all powered by the FTSO. So it's always good to see these novel features or these capabilities be brought to life thanks to the FTSO. So shout out to Flare community and the team over at Digital Dynamics and Blockbones. And last but not least, yesterday, Friday, we had a community spaces call with the Burst Nodes and Dan Rocky. So I was able to catch half of this. It was good conversation, good conversation. It's always nice to attend or listen in on these community driven events. Blair does a good job of doing their community calls, but it's always nice to actually see community-led events come up when they do. So I try to support whenever I can. And who knows? I might want to do a community spaces one day. I don't know. I don't know. We'll see. But yeah, shout out to Dan Rocky and Burst Nodes for a wonderful spaces. Hopefully they continue doing this, or at least I think Dan Rocky was a guest. So hopefully Burst Nodes continues to do this and host weekly spaces moving forward. And yeah, so with that being said, that's really a wrap up for this week's Flare News. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think in the comments. How do you feel about all this news coming up? Are you prepared to vote for the upcoming Flare improvement proposals? How excited are you for the future of the Flare ecosystem? Let me know. Give me a like. Be sure to share this. Hit me with a subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.